again with this logo? Hang on. That's better. Hey, what's going on out here? Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's that time of year once again. 2024 was in most cases a roller coaster when it came to video games, having quite big ups, big downs, and loop-de-loops. Ubisoft reminded everyone that when they put in the effort, they can make good games, only to remind us soon after that they don't care and just strive to make it through another year of corporate greed and half-baked games. PlayStation will release games that aren't just remasters or remakes of games everyone already owns, with Helldivers 2 and Astrobot, only to remind us that remasters and remakes are their bread and butter lately. Oh, and that they need to rethink the whole live service strategy, especially if they want these games to be their, next Star Wars. Yikes! And of course, let's not forget, no matter how good or amazing the games are, it doesn't mean jack shit in the end if your game wins multiple awards or is crowned one of the best and most original games in the past years of gaming. You're probably still going to get shut down by Xbox.
I left them to go work on the game. They're a very talented team. I love that team, and I still do, and I will totally bet on them to do another great game.
You fucker!
But like I said though, this year was a real roller coaster, and with this video, unlike grifters around the world sniffing out the next game to grift on like Nazgul looking for hobbits, I'm here to celebrate the games I truly enjoyed. We're back once again on my top games of 2024. If you weren't here last year, firstly, hello and welcome to the channel. Secondly, it's a video on my top games of the year. No real rankings of the games, just me saying these games are some of the toppest of games out there, topping loads of times, especially games like Suicide Squad.
Put it in me. Oh, somebody kill me, please!
Like last year though, before we get into the games I played, it's best I talk about the games I missed first, as I think it's good to let people know before they comment, where was blank or blank? I can say, I just didn't get to it yet. So without further ado, let's get into my pile of shame for this year, as we start with Final Fantasy VII. Another year, another Final Fantasy game in my backlog of shame. I must be cursed at this point when it comes to Final Fantasy. This is a big one, as I know a lot of people dug this game, and I really wanted to as well. I still have the game installed, ready to go when I want to, but at this point in time, I've only opened it to really see what the game's all about with the opening, and that's it. I think it came out when I was just in the middle of other stuff, but overall though, I don't have anyone to blame but myself for not getting around to this, especially with how much I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake. A fantastic remake with such fun moments and character design. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Now this one isn't really a pile of shame game, it's just I'm going to definitely get to it really soon. I decided last year in 2024 to start the year out with playing through the Yakuza games, and man, let me tell ya, there's a lot of Yakuza games, and they go for a very, 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 very long time. They're all amazing in every way. Like, I've been playing these games, I've been loving every single one of them, but my drive to go further with them lately just made me just want to pause it for a little bit there. But I did almost get there with playing this game, but with how much was coming out and how big the games were, I just got bombarded and couldn't get to it in time for last year. It's definitely going to be a game I play soon though, as I am playing The Man Who Erased His Name, so I just can't wait to see where this game goes for the characters, especially after Yakuza Like a Dragon and The Man Who Erased His Name. Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. This one is a real shame, just like every game here, but Prince of Persia, man, I had no interest in this game at all, especially when it was first announced. Not only that, the trailers alone for the game just really didn't catch my eye, and also as I became slowly a much bigger PC gamer, the whole Ubisoft Connect and Epic Game Store exclusivity bullshit with Ubisoft games was just one of the worst moves that Ubisoft has done. I mean, they've done many for the past few years, ever since I'd say Assassin's Creed Unity, but Ubisoft has just been going downhill, and Ubisoft Connect and their Epic Game Store bullshit they were doing just sucked ass and just made me lose my whole interest in playing this game. Since then though, I have seen the rave reviews from this game and the anger as well when the game didn't do good enough in Ubisoft's eyes, even though there were things like it did sell well and also reviewed great, as we all know, but as always, for some reason, Ubisoft expects AAA sales from all of their games, even if they're free to play or a 2D Metroidvania style game set in a franchise they haven't touched in years.
What more do you want from me?
I do plan to play this game soon for sure, but at this point in time, it's just a shame I didn't play it when it first came out. But it is on Steam now at least, and we're far enough away from the game's release and those god-awful trailers they had for the game that I'm ready to get into it soon. Seriously, I don't know what it was about Prince of Persia's trailers, but they just sucked to me. Ever since that first trailer, I was kind of just like, I'm good. But hey, we're past that now, right? Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Truly a wrong date at the wrong time for this situation for this game. It came out and I was just too busy for it with other things and games in general. As a fan of the series for many years now and wanting BioWare to, for the love of all that is mighty, get out of the hole they were buried in thanks to Andromeda and Anthem.
Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything. And right now, I just want to know what happened with Alec.
Get the hell out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
A new Dragon Age felt hopeful, but when it finally came out, I was just too busy with other games, and though I'm interested to give it a shot and give my opinion on it, after hearing everyone else's opinion on the game on social media, I'll most definitely be getting to it by this year. Although for some reason since the games came out, I've been more interested in going back to the other Dragon Ages, so if anything, I may start with Dragon Age Origins, then 2, then Acquisition, and then Veilguard, and we'll see. This is going to be a busy year for me when it comes to RPG games, I already feel it. I mean, Kingdom Come and Avowed are coming out really soon, like, fuck man. And once again, those were my biggest games of shame for me, but I feel like I'll be onto them sooner than later in like 2023's games, which by the way, anyone wondering about them, I still haven't gotten to Final Fantasy 16, Baldur's Gate 3 or System Shock, but I have been getting through Pizza Tower, and let me tell you right now, what a game. I love it. But with the other games, that'll change in 2025 for sure. I've got a plan, just trust me. After all that though, it's time to get to the meat of this dish as we get into my top games of 2024. Of course, heads up, these games aren't going to be in everyone's top this year, but like I said last year, it's always important to remember this. It's my opinion and also my channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now I know what you're thinking. Liam, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't do this. This is just fucking DLC, you fucking piece of shit. And yeah, I know, has-been hotel character.
Fucking dick!
But if Elden Ring can get nominated for Game of the Year again at the Game Awards for its DLC, then I can gush about Alan Wake 2 again this year and its DLCs that were both released this year, that being Night Springs and Lake House. Two very different to each other DLCs that both are amazing. Especially for me, a huge Alan Wake fan that I'm sure many people learned last year with this game's release. Review in the description. And like I said last year with Alan Wake 2, the DLC is a masterpiece. Even if the DLCs aren't that massive, they don't at least overstay their welcome. They're extra additions to an already great game, and with things like Night Springs showing characters from Remedy's games helping Alan escape the Dark Place, and Lake House focusing on Kieran investigating FBC-controlled location Lake House after some very bad things happen there, it's just a great addition of DLC that you just want to go further into the world of Alan Wake. Now, I'm not here to spoil anything about the DLCs or, of course, the main story of Alan Wake 2, but I just really wanted to give this game its roses, as it's truly a great DLC for a game that's just really damn good. Actually, no, like I said before, a masterpiece.
Wait, that's a real shotgun?
Now, I for one am not one of the people to say, how is this game in the top games list? It's not even popular anymore. And to people that say that, I say, shut up. This game still is a damn good time. And sure, my playtime with it has slowed down a lot since launch, I still won't forget about the great times I had with it. As Helldivers 2 was such a fun time that from day one I was in there heavy with my boys killing a hefty amount of Terminids, and getting killed a hefty amount of times by automatons, and also my own teammates. And I enjoyed every second of it, from its catchy ass music, dark humor, fun, and just great looking graphics, and also of course just being a damn fun time again. Did I already say fun? It's a really fun game. I truly love this game so much, and now especially with the Illuminates coming around into the game ever so often in the game, a ton of new content is there since launch, and if you haven't touched the game since launch, be sure to give it a shot. Unless of course you can't play the goddamn game because PlayStation are fucking idiots and won't allow the whatever the fuck they're doing over there. Like, for the love of freedom, fix the issues with the game. Get that PSN bullshit out of this such a fantastic goddamn game. Helldivers 2 is such a great game and one of the best ways to start a year. There's no surprise surely for people that this game would be here. Batman Arkham Shadow, as I've said before in previous videos linked below, is one of the best VR games out right now. And say what you will about Half-Life Alyx being the gold standard, I truly feel this game has hit that gold standard of quality, from a great story, fantastic gameplay, and immersiveness needed for a game like this. I've said a lot about this game already, so I won't take up too much time, but if there's any game that someone asks for recommendations to play, this is very much at the top of that list, especially since it's free with every new quest free and free S. So you'll get it anyways if you get a quest. Yeah, not not sponsored, by the way. Hey, at Meta, with the amount of promotion I've been giving you guys lately, how about you send me a little DM on Twitter, Blue Sky, or wherever the hell I am these days, please? Marky Mark.
Mark, give me the Zuck. I'm fucking...
Now, of course, I'm sure that come the time of this video, maybe there's already a controversy or hate towards this game. I don't know. It seems to be that when popular multiplayer or free-to-play games come out, everyone flips after a few months, like a loving relationship. But I, for one, love this game. I'm a huge multiplayer fan, and I know people compare Overwatch to this game a lot, but unlike Overwatch nowadays, Rivals is a really fresh feeling for me and others, especially my friends and me just playing it together most nights. I have well over hundreds of hours in prior games, especially Overwatch, but dropped the game ages ago after the one big thing for the sequel they announced wasn't coming to the sequel. What? Since then though, I've stuck to my favorites with Fortnite, the finals, and whatever new game my friends and I will buy and play for 6 hours and stop playing. But Rivals has stuck around much longer than 6 hours for me. There hasn't been a game like this in ages, multiplayer specific, that's grabbed me so well and works perfectly. Starting out the game, I really didn't play many heroes, but I soon realized, opening myself up more, I loved playing most of the heroes in the games that I was playing. I never expected to enjoy characters like Cloak and Dagger, or Wolverine, or even Hela, but here I am. Also Squirrel Girl for her great attack kills and fun character design. Marvel Rivals. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought talking about Squirrel Girl, what the fuck. Marvel Rivals is great though, and I'm interested to see where it goes next for the future when it comes to characters, maps, and just modes in general. I know that apparently quite a few of the characters have already leaked ahead of their release, but I don't really care. At this point, I'm just already playing the game heavily, and I've probably already forgotten at this point who the next characters are. I mean, of course, I know that the current characters are Fantastic Four, but there are characters that are already set up for the future that I'm just like, they'll come when they come. In the meantime, I'll be quickly locking in Wolverine and typing someone be healed before the match even starts. Seriously, come on man, I'm being a duelist here. I'm here to help the team. Can someone heal me? Cloak and Dagger? Come on, man. Yet again, another VR game on the top games list, as Skydance's new game, the creators of the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners games, released their next game, Behemoth. A game, how many fucking times did I just say game there? A game set in a dark fantasy world where it's up to you to fight these giant colossi so you can save yourself and everyone from a terrible infection spreading around the lands. That was a pretty good elevator pitch for that game. This game, like Skydance's previous games, just is another banger from them. I know people are iffy on Saints and Sinners 2 for some reason. I don't really know, I love it, but Skydance kills it each new game, and to see them do a brand new IP is great, especially on a scale this massive. The only thing I disliked about this game was its release, as if you didn't know for the longest time, Skydance was not saying anything on the game releasing on PC, as most fans were asking this question pretty much every time they released a new trailer. A lot of people were asking the same question, when's the PC release? When is it coming? Until of course finally come launch day, they announced the game's coming to PC, as people got excited, and so did I, while I cancelled my pre-order on the Metastore. I'm glad it did release on PC, but it is a pretty shitty move to not say anything up until the launch. But at least it's on PC now, and it looks amazing on there. I would have played it if it only came to Quest 3 and PSVR 2 of course, but I'm more into playing a game of this scale on my PC, as I know that'll really show all the bells and whistles, especially the bowls of the Colossi. All the bowls and whistles. That's pretty good. No, it isn't. But it truly did show off what it could do. I am interested to see how this game does run on the Meta Quest 3, as I'm not too sure. I think it also runs on Quest 2, so if people have played it on there, let me know how it performs on there. I'm not too sure how it looks. But this has been such a great game to play throughout, but do be warned if you do decide to purchase the game is difficult. It's not a Souls-like game, but it is very Souls-like when it comes to difficulty, especially with its bosses outside of the behemoths. Overall though, just another banger VR game for the year. Like I said last year, VR had a real renaissance year when it came to 2024. This year's gonna have a couple indie games sprinkled in, which I'm very happy with, so be ready to write these down on a wish list as I tell you about Death of the Reprobate, a point-and-click adventure in the style of paintings from the early 15th century. I'm not the most historical person out there, so if someone wants to correct me, do go ahead. But in Death of the Reprobate, you are the last of Immortal John's family heirs, and he thinks you're a real bastard, and says that if you are to succeed him, you must be a good person for people for once, as you accept this quest and help people around this town as best or as worst you can, and it's truly a damn fun time. I love the previous work of this developer's work, Joe Richardson, and highly recommend this game, as well as his previous games, The Procession to Calvary and Four Last Things. I haven't played his game Preposterous Awesomeness of Everything, so can't say much there, but be sure to give this game a shot. I don't often play point-and-click games lately, and I rarely do ever since I started playing video games. I never was a person who played the Monkey Island games growing up, but this game is just a good-ass game, and it truly makes me want to keep playing more point-and-click adventures. If you're looking for something different, be sure to check this out when you can. Truly a fantastic time. That's right, another VR game, wow! This time on the fantastic good time game Vendetta Forever. A game about you in different fighting scenarios where you must traverse the levels through every bad guy you see, fighting like you're in Super Hot mixed with John Wick, so pretty much Super Hot VR. This game was not on my mind this year, as I had no clue what it was until November last year, as I played the demo and loved my time with it as I went through the levels in the demo. I immediately went for full purchase, as this game is just so fun and a real workout as you traverse so many fun and different levels. My favorites being ones that are real different or obvious callouts to great action movies, like one that's pretty much The Matrix, or one where you can't see anything and must shoot to even notice the enemies surrounding you. With that, there is so much more I'm not telling you about this game, but it's just damn good fun throughout, and if you're interested, give the demo at least a shot, as it really hooked me the moment I finished the demo. You'll most likely be hooked in for the full game like I was. Now I know what you're all thinking, this game has hit the fan lately, like every Call of Duty does after its initial launch, but I'd say like Diablo 4 when I talked about that last year, I'm just thinking back to the times I had before the shit hit the fan. Before I do start praising this game and how fun I had with it, I just have one quick thing to say. Activision, Treyarch and Xbox, get your shit together and protect your voice actors from AI, and stop being lazy with your fucking store and whatever the hell you're doing. You're telling me a $1 billion series like Call of Duty can't afford to pay their workers to work on stuff that looks cool? Are you kidding me? Has there not been over 10 years of Call of Duty where there's been cool camos and all that shit? What do you mean you had to get a 6-fingered Santa AI zombie in your game instead of asking an artist to do it? Are you out of your fucking mind? What is wrong with you? Are you just too busy firing and downsizing your teams? Oh wait, you are. That being said, Black Ops 6 is still a fun time for me, from its multiplayer to zombies to campaign. It's been quite a few years for myself specifically of Call of Duty's just being wet farts lately, but Black Ops 6 has been a banger. This was the first COD in forever where I actually bothered to prestige and keep playing in so long. It's been real fun to play this game on and off, and aside from how it's been lately, content updates for the game have been great, already getting a new zombies map, which is pretty good, and multiplayer that is fun, and then there's Warzone, but I don't really give a shit about that. I don't like Warzone, so whatever, but so we ignore that. In the end, Black Ops 6 was good fun, and hopefully this 4-year development time that Black Ops 6 had teaches COD a lesson to take time and not rush. But with saying that, it doesn't really matter, as they'll always release COD no matter how broken or lazy or awful it is. COD Vanguard, Modern Warfare 3, 2023, yuck. Metro Awakening was a real surprise for me, as I'm a huge fan of the Metro series. I've been playing the game since 2010 and read half of the first book until I got sleepy. By the way, it is a good book, I'm just a bedtime reader, which never helps, but a VR Metro game interested me as it combines two things I'm into, the Metro games and VR, and for the most part it worked out really well. From the same team that does the Arizona Sunshine games, it was nice to see them stretch their legs a little more with this more narrative heavy game, as if you've played the Arizona games, you're really there for the gameplay. Metro on the other hand has both, as you play through a good side story to the Metro games themselves, as you play a doctor who has to search the Metro tunnels for his wife, who is suffering from the loss of their son, as you fight through bandits and monsters in the Metro's tunnels, and surface, obviously. As a fan of the Metro games, I loved being back in this world in this way, and it was a really great time with it, as it's also some of the best fun I've had in VR combat focused on shooting, as you can stealth through or shoot through your enemies, though I'd recommend stealth as it's really good here and more intense fun. Metro Awakening just works really well together with its story and its combat and gameplay, and it's just another great VR game for 2024, and it helped tide me over until the next Metro game, though not really, as now I want to play through all the Metro games again. Thanks Metro Awakening, I guess. Thanks. Saying that The Thing, directed by John Carpenter and starring Kurt Russell from the 1980s, is one of my most favorite horror films ever would be an understatement.
bitch.
I love The Thing, but never played this game, as by the time I was playing PS2, my brain couldn't function to the idea of a sequel to the movie The Thing was a video game. I mean, what? How does that work? But once again, the brilliant people at Night Dive Studios have saved the day as they released The Thing Remastered, a remastered version of the original game with much better controls and improved graphics. As I can definitely say, this is a very nice remaster. I of course can't compare the two games as I'd never played the original game, but the best I can compare it to is Germa's The Thing stream from years ago. What a stream. Love that guy. The Thing Remastered though is a real treat for me, as I love the original The Thing and was a real fun game to play after that movie. This feels like the best PS2 game to get a remaster. Aside from, of course, hopefully someday an Area 51 remaster. Night Dive, please? Are you listening? I doubt you are, but please? Actually, no, please, could you guys do The Darkness? I think I speak for quite a few people that we kind of yearn for that remaster by you guys. That would be fantastic. The Thing Remastered though is fun, and I loved my time with it. From its fun ideas it had with your team you get in the game to its continuation of the story and, of course, other things. Pun intended. I really enjoyed this game a ton and just don't have much else to say, but be sure to give it a shot yourself.
Off the chain, off the hook, what's my name? Take a look, made you wait.
I swear this is the last VR game, I'm pretty sure. I need to check through the list again. But I'm gonna quickly froth about the game Underdogs. Like Vendetta Forever, this game came out of nowhere for me, as I'd seen it on my Steam page and not know what it was, but thought that there was a trial for it on the Quest store, so I thought I'll give it a chance, and immediately after the trial just bought the game outright. The game is a roguish-like mech fighting game where you upgrade your mech to be the best machine out there as you stomp, charge, and buzzsaw through enemies in your way in the arenas. It is so damn fun and has great things to it outside of the arena as well. As you need to prep for the fights, you can go off upgrading your mech or going into junkyards and having convos to succeed. Hopefully getting very much better upgrades for your mech, or just getting to know new people that you can talk to throughout the game. The game just works, and I for one am really into this game's ideas. If I were to compare it to anything like a lot of people are saying, it's pretty much Real Steel the video game, but not the mobile video game that came out years ago. Just like how a Real Steel video game should be. It just works so well together and it's just so damn fun. It really makes you feel like a true mech maniac, but of course the only sad part is that you're a British person. Only downside, but it is fun. Like many of you, I'm sure we've all heard of Outlast or played the games. Outlast 1 was a real treat for many horror fans, and I would say it's one of the best horror games out there. And Outlast 2, it's really 50-50 for me. I know people enjoyed it, but I for one was iffy on it, mainly from its final act. But after that, it was surprising to hear that not only would we of course get Outlast 3 in the future, but they would also release a multiplayer game set in the Outlast universe, where you can play with up to 3 friends on maps, escaping psychopaths around the map, as you just try to fight to escape. I thought this would be terrible, to be honest, but lo and behold, I had a great time with it. Not just because I enjoyed it a lot, but playing this game together with my girlfriend was just a real treat, working together to help the other do tasks and also mess with each other. There were plenty of times I'd be running from a psychopath and hope if I ran past her, they'd go after her instead. That was always fun for me, not so much for her. Since release though, I didn't expect it to be so well supported, but the team has continued great support for the game. The game was already well done at full release this year with maps, story, and leveling, but they've continued support with new psychos to add and then new maps to extend the game's story, and it's fantastic stuff. I don't know how well the game did everywhere, but I do hope it did well, as I may have been a non-believer at first, but this really was a great change up from Outlast 2 that was needed. It felt really fresh, unlike other studios that would go, drat, our last game underperformed. Oh well, just make a battle royale while we work on our next game. Right, Respawn? Because you're still working on Titanfall 3, right? Since that's why you cancelled that Star Wars game you were working on, and since Apex is dying, right? Right. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, I'm very serious. This is a top game of 2024. Duck Detective and the Secret Salami follows your character, the Duck Detective, in solving the case of Salami that's gone missing at a bus station office, where you have to investigate the crime of the Secret Salami, requiring you to interrogate everyone working at this office and figure out who is involved in this mystery of the Salami. This game was damn good fun. I'm sure someone is watching right now like, are you serious? What are you, fucking stupid? But I'm serious, champ, so don't call me stupid. It's just a fun-ass game that reminds me of the fantastic game series Frog Detective. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be lighthearted and funny detective games where the character is an animal that just sells like hotcakes for me. And I also 100%ed them each time. I love this game so much, and just is presented so well with fun cutscenes, characters, and jokes that I really loved. I'm not kidding when I say this is a game that I had so much fun with, especially just the start alone where Duck Detective is recently divorced and misses his wife.
Hannah!
I'm a different duck now. I haven't had a slice of bread in weeks. You have to believe me!
Speaking of husbands missing their wives though, I think like many of you, we were all worried about how this game would come out. One of the most well-known and beloved games ever made was getting a remake from a studio that people are very 50-50 on with their games. And not only that, but pretty much every time a trailer was released, they looked more worrying. And the game director would then tweet about how the game looks nothing like that anymore. It's crazy to think this happened and hopefully won't happen again, but I'm very much in love with this game. Now, I'm going to be very honest, I didn't grow up a Silent Hill gamer, but knew of the games. But by the time I wanted to play them, it was damn near impossible to play any of them unless you coughed up the funds to play them on older hardware, swallowed the dry pill that was a port of Silent Hill 2 and 3 that was terrible apparently, I haven't touched it, or found your way into getting a copy of the original Silent Hill 2 on PC that has been lovingly enhanced for PC, which I did. The Silent Hill 2 Enhanced PC Edition is stunning, and hats off to the modders on that project. What an update and work of love. Silent Hill 2 Remake though is a real surprise like I said, but I'm very happy with it. I'm not sure how all OG Silent Hill 2 fans feel about the game, but for me who isn't a fan or at least didn't play the original games growing up like I've already said, I really loved it from its not only fantastic characters that are very memorable, especially James, but also from its crazy good enemy designs that are more horrifying once you learn the ins and outs of the lore of 2. But aside from these two, I think really my only gripes with this game was just the combat that can feel stiff. I loved everything else about this game though, and it just works so well together, from the game's exploration and puzzles and story that I just wanted to keep going with. It's a gut-wrenching story about loss and so many other things that I truly loved from start to end, and I have to give hats off to Bloober Team. They were up against the wall with this game, but they really delivered on it. And I just hope that they're able to continue this hot streak with their next game and maybe even further remakes of Silent Hill. I'd love to see what they could do with either 1 or 3 next. Just a beautifully well-made remake of a well-beloved game. Echo Point Nova is so much fun and is just amazing. If it weren't for a TikToker I watch having it play in the background of their videos and it being bundled with another game I wanted to play, I fear I would have missed out on such a great game. Echo Point Nova is something I didn't immediately vibe with until I gave it that second shot, and I'm very happy I gave this game that second chance. You'll be put into this game's map that is so massive and fun to kick ass in. It's just so damn fun. You're just running around this map, kicking ass, taking names while on a hoverboard, and honestly, feeling like a what if scenario for the TMNT where Raph and the Turtles decide to shred up the Foot Clan with guns. Weird what if, but it came to my mind while riding. Echo Point has you slowly building up an arsenal where I thought these guns are great, but then the game gives you this realization where the more you use these guns, the more upgraded they get when you defeat more enemies, and it just becomes amazing. You can get yourself a shotgun that gets a silencer that also rapid fires, a revolver becomes more packed with punch and a laser sight, and your alpha-based mewing body becomes more bricked from each new upgrade in this game. I love this game so much, and from time to time I'll just switch it on to enjoy some hoverboarding and scoping in the game. It's just a really fun game that I'm just so glad I gave a chance, especially thanks to that bundle it came in. And I'm sure you're probably asking, well Liam, what was that game that it was bundled with, you ask? Well, it was... I Am Your Beast came to grab my attention the moment I saw its demo on the Steam Next Fest, a first-person shooter set in the snowy mountains as you are hunted by your former team who is trying to get you back in the game after you've retired, only to realize they really should have left you alone, as you use anything you can to fight them off from your home, from tree branches to RPGs. You'll be going through these levels and just wanting to replay them as you try to get the next best time on it and achieve full star ratings, as this game is just a full chest hair grower, or for my ladies out there, a beard hair grower. As you go into each level learning it to then finish and just have that feeling on your neck that you could do even better, and you're then sat there for 4 hours doing every level you get better than before just to get that sweet glorious win. If I could compare it to any other game for people, it would be the game Neon White. Both fast-paced shooter games that in the end it just works, and I highly recommend you get it, especially bundled with Echo Point Nova. If you were to ask me about games I wished would get sequels or just something new in the series, well, I have a huge list of course, which has had answers. Dead Rising, Dead Space, Alan Wake, and now Dragon's Dogma 2 are marked off that list. Dragon's Dogma was a crazy good game for me playing back on the Xbox 360. I'd never experienced something like it before and just couldn't believe we finally got a sequel to it after so many years. However, when it first launched, it had many problems with it launching terribly, with the big issues being for PC players, which was surprising since Capcom games come over pretty well to PC and consoles. My thoughts are that with this being a more open world game to their other games, it's more than likely that maybe the Resident Evil engine, the RE engine, couldn't really handle it, and maybe we're getting to the point the engine needs updating, but what do I know really? But after patches and fixes, the game still has its hiccups from time to time, but it's more playable than ever. And since then, I've enthralled myself in the world once again, feeling like a kid playing Dragon's Dogma 1 once again, which it pretty much is since the main menu of the game just says Dragon's Dogma. Not many games are like Dragon's Dogma here, and that's what I truly love about its difficulty and boss battles. Now, I love a Souls-like game, but with Dragon's Dogma, though, it's not as hard as, say, an Elden Ring. It can be challenging still, but it's so satisfying after every battle to succeed, especially after climbing that big-ass enemy all over and stab until they collapse. It's still to this day the best part of the game and the series, and instead of being this easier or cookie-cutter sequel, they were just like, no, this is a sequel to Dragon's Dogma 1, and we're just keeping it as difficult and as fun as the original was. Aside from all my rave about the game though, the one thing that is really abysmal about the game is microtransactions, and the fact that reviewers weren't given a heads up about this, so everyone that pretty much reviewed the game day one got bombarded in the comment sections about it. The good thing is not every reviewer released day one reviews at least, or at least came out and said, hey, we didn't know, but the damage was done, and just was truly embarrassing for Capcom as yet again they forced microtransactions into another game that didn't need it. I sound down for this game, but truly I do still love it. Ignoring all that and finally the game working better on PC and consoles for the most part, I can say that Dragon's Dogma 2 is really a topper for this year, and I think if you need to be in a world for a good while, well, be in the Dragon's Dogma world next. Now I have to be open about this and say first off that I'm not a Warhammer guy. Not to say I'm not interested in the world of what's going on, but it's just a lot to get into and seems like a hobby I shouldn't do since it sounds very expensive. But I have been for the longest time a fan of the Space Marine games, playing the first one on Xbox 360 so many years ago, and to think many years later a new Space Marine would release and actually be amazing was so good. I loved every part of this game, even from things like its multiplayer. It's weird to say this, but I wish more games had a multiplayer like this for their games that, no offense, doesn't feel fully supported, but is there for extra content and is great fun. I miss those days when Naughty Dog used to release games and have Uncharted and Last of Us multiplayer. Just so damn fun, man. Bring back factions. But Space Marine 2 is so damn good. It's got sauce, it's got chest hair, and it's got action. If this game was a steak, it would be a tomahawk steak. I love every inch of this game and still have more to dig into with this game thanks to the support it's continuing to get and its operations mode, which I really need to get into further. Overall though, just from its campaign and multiplayer and the bit of operations I've played, this game is a damn good time. And even if you're not a Warhammer fan, you're still going to want to check this game out. It just brings back them glorious Xbox 360 cover shooter game days, and that's a compliment that feels just right. I won't talk too much about this game as I do have a video up on the channel for this game already, and that video did really well compared to my other videos.
$7? Are you fucking serious?
Thank goodness You're Here is one of the funniest and fun games I played this year, and it didn't overstay its welcome either. It's a game about your little character being in this small town to meet the Lord Mayor, but ending up in multiple different things that require you to help the town in their deeds. And I loved all of it. Just walking around the town and slapping things was a treat. But then there's a whole game to this game, and it all is so fun that I just think people should go in as blind as possible into it, as even in my review I didn't want to spoil much. It's got a great art style to it, the comedy is really funny, the game is simple but does so much with it, and above all else it's just a really fun time. Sadly set in Britain. No matter the amount of people that complained about the game changing minor things to the game that barely affects anything, Dr. Doctor is such a fantastic game that I really hope is the first step in what comes next for Capcom with Dead Rising again. Dead Rising means a lot to me, having grown up on all the games and loving almost all of the series, as I was so happy not only how quick this game was announced and released, but how perfect the game is. It's been a while since I've played a game where I replay it multiple times in a row, but Dr. Doctor had me coming back for more each time. And just like Thank Goodness You're Here, there's a video on the channel already, so feel free to watch that to learn more about my love for this game, instead of watching a certain YouTuber try to tell you it sucks. They're wrong, and you'd think they would have learnt their lesson from trying to do this last time with RE4 Remake. You know who you are. I'm not going to say much about this game, as like everyone who's played this game says, is just play the game and figure it out on your own, as there is not much I will say for the game here, but for a game like this to come out of nowhere and sweep me off my feet as well is truly jaw-dropping. I have heard a lot of people say play the game and see what it's about, but I truly didn't expect this much to be packed into such a short game. It's just amazing, and I really hope you haven't spoiled yourself from this game, as you need to play it. That's all I'll say for now. I'm thinking I may do a video on this game in the near future, but that's all I'll say for now, as I truly loved this game. It's just so much perfectly done in this that, god damn man, it is just a chef's kiss of a game that I'm still thinking about. Unlike the Game Awards of 2024, I will give Balatro its many awards, as... It won how many awards? Well, that's great and all for Balatro, but this game's going to be one of the top games of 2024. Unlike its Game Award wins, Balatro is a fun game that I really do love, but just didn't get it first when I first played it. I saw how popular it was and I was like, well, shit, I should check this out, and then when I did, I thought it was okay, but nothing crazy. That wasn't until I gave it another shot and spent hours in its game trying to get win after win, like my favorite pastime in the world. Just vibing out to this game and its fantastic music reminds me of that one episode of Robot Chicken where the guy gets TiVo and just is sunk into his couch watching so much TV, to TiVo then killing this guy's mother so he can enjoy Balatro in peace. Not that that's what Balatro will do, but it generally feels like that guy of the TiVo, just sitting there and rotting away and loving it. At this point, plenty of people have played this game already, and if you haven't yourself, you really should give it that shot, as it's just so fun and the perfect game for when you need it and just chilling and grilling. Balatro. It's not gambling, it's just a good game. Astrobot was what was really needed this year. A fun platformer that takes things up a notch for platformers itself and PlayStation, especially after PlayStation got a few misses in them this year. Astrobot is such a delightful game with fantastic game mechanics and ideas that honestly shocked me when it won Game of the Year. Not because it shouldn't have, but because I felt other games would beat it, since everyone would non-stop talk about them winning, but maybe that's just my hint to get off social media more. But I'm so happy it won, not just because it's a great game, but because it's so different to how many games we got this year from the AAA side. A very well-deserved win from a studio that deserves it, especially after the company you worked for thought their live service game was going to be their next Star Wars, when they didn't realize that Astrobot would become their next Sackboy. Now that doesn't mean I don't want to see Sackboy anymore, though. I'm still bitter about how they've treated one of the best characters ever made. Hashtag bring back Little Big Planet and hashtag port your PS3 games properly to PS5, please. I'm begging you, PlayStation, please. Once again though, Astrobot is one of the toppest games of this year for sure, and if you haven't played it yet, be sure to, since I feel the people complaining about it winning Game of the Year most likely never touched it or gave it the time of day. If you'd have told me the Indiana Jones game would be so memorable for me after a year already of bangers, I wouldn't have been too surprised, since I do love machine games oh so much. Minus Youngblood. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is their next game after so many years it feels now, and the wait has been well worth the wait. I remember every single trailer or gameplay that came out for this game just wasn't hitting for me, and I'm not fully sure why, but it just never grabbed me crazy, so I just decided to skip over any more details to learn about the game and just go in head first come launch day. And now, 20 plus hours later and a near 100% of achievements for the game, I can safely say that this game was amazing. Not just because it's the best thing related to Indiana Jones since Lego Indiana Jones, but also just being one of the best open / immersive / first person / puzzle / adventure games in a good long while. So many people pretty much immediately were like, oh, it's just going to be an Uncharted clone if anything. And when I heard that, it was just like, oh, so you haven't watched Indiana Jones before then, have you? Since that lays the groundwork for those games. but the moment this game released for me and I was digging into it, the game throughout was just pedal to the metal for me from the opening to the end. It hooked me with giving us a trip back to the beginning of the series to then opening up a ton from its first location to after it, with locations like Rome, Giza, and Jungle. To be completely honest, I completely forgot what the name of the Jungle location was, even though I spent the most time there. But it's been a while since I've sat and just gotten everything I could in the game. Even Alan Wake 2, a game I 100%ed, I don't think I explored every nook and cranny in that game as much as I did this game. This truly is one of my most top games of the year, and if you haven't already, do yourself a favor and give this game a shot. If you're like me, you'll be exploring everything the game has to offer, because even though you can streamline the main story, there's still so much to the world in regards to its levels and depth to it that you'll be exploring and suddenly find a location you never expected to see while out on your adventures, doing my third favorite thing after gambling and gaming, beating up Nazis with your fist or a toilet brush. Just feels great to do. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is the best indie game of the year. Sorry, Belatra. And with another year down, those were my top games of 2024. What do you think of the games on the list? And if a game on this list didn't appear here, what was it? And let me know in the comments below, as I'll be sure to check it out. Once again, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and here's to 2025 being another banger year for games like 2024 was. As it seems to be on social media sites, people seem to think 2024 was not a banger year for gaming, and when people say that, they honestly most of the time just need to open up more to other games. It's ridiculous to think that when we had such amazing games this year, and I for one am very happy with 2024's games. Once again, if a game didn't make it in, let me know in the comments below. If anything, it's two things. One, I never got around to it, like say Metaphor, or just forgot / never heard of it. So be sure to let me know, maybe I'll be able to get to them, unless you say a game like Skull and Bones. Let's not suggest that, okay? Anyways, as always, thank you all for watching, and be sure to like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more videos real soon. Thanks for watching as always, everyone. It's appreciated. Oh wait, hang on, I forgot to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and where it belongs on the list. Perfect. See ya, everyone.